All right, you guys, let's get into this braidless, glueless, gelless sewing. So my hair is short because I cut it again and I'm not able to grip it for braids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make some flat twists, wrapping them with honestly the braid hair that I just took out of my hair. So you can get some fresh braid hair if you want, if you need to, whatever the case may be. But go ahead and make a part going down the side where you're going to start doing your first twist. I'm setting up my sew-in for a middle part, so that's why I'm doing the twist the way that I am doing them. But you definitely want to make sure you have some twists that are going around the perimeter. And then you're going to see me just start to fold in the hair and I'm going to be twisting it. Now, this is another key part. Before you twist all the way down, you want to get your needle and thread and you want to start to sew around it so that it secures that flat twist in place. So go up under that braiding hair that you've twisted your hair around and then come back over. And you also want to try to make these stitches relatively close to one another because that's going to help with the security as well. So let's go ahead and let's track through that. And then as you're twisting, you want to make sure that you are keeping everything not tight, obviously, but you know the word taut. So just nice and secure. And then you're going to twist that first twist into the second twist like you saw me just do. Basically just connecting the twist literally the same way that you would connect braids in a sew-in. And then you're going to start to loop it together. I make like 3 loops around these twists so that then I can secure it with a clip as I start to section off my other parts of hair. And so this is everything completely done. It's literally like I braided it down, but now I'm just using twist. And so I'm going to get a cap. Now I'm going to be using this cap also to basically secure everything. So instead of using a netted cap, I'm using this ultra thin cap and it worked out super well. I'm going to cut where my ears are so that I can, let my ears breathe, and get that flat lay around, even though I'm going to end up cutting some of this off. This is my closure. This is the tinted spray. I used it on the closure as well as the top of my cap. And now I'm just positioning where I want that closure to lay. And I want to be able to do a side part, so it's a little over to the side, but also I'm making sure that I'm leaving enough room in the front so that then my hairline don't look like, all the way back. So I'm going to start sewing this closure down. You want to make sure that you only sew halfway around and then stop and then sew the other halfway around. And I would say another tip is also just to make sure you're not pulling that closure back while you're sewing it down, because again, that's going to lead to your closure just being like way too far back and you don't want to have that. Alrighty, so one side is done being sewn down. So I'm just going to twist that hair up and out of the way. I'm going to pull the closure to the other side to make sure it's, just nice and secure, laying the way that I want it to. Make sure it's nice and flat. And then I'm going to start sewing around this second side all the way to the back. All right, you guys, so I double my tracks because I like my sewings to be nice and full without having to, like, I don't know, sew ultra close together. And I start by putting the needle through the ends of that track after I folded it over, as you're seeing me do in this video. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to pull that thread all the way through before I start sewing in on the back of my hair. So you see, I just pulled it all the way through, and then I'm going to get that in. I'm going to stick it into that bottom braid. My fingers are there because I'm feeling for where that, I keep saying braid, where that bottom twist is. And I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to use a traditional sewing method, start sewing it in. And then I'm going to show you guys the way that I do the flip over method to make sure it lays nice and flat in just a second. Alrighty, and now I've gotten to the end. I'm about to do the flip over. I was cutting the thread, not the actual track. I'm going to just do some security sews because I did cut that thread. So I think I do like 2 or 3, something like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and I am going to flip that track over. So this is literally what you do. You just fold it over. Make sure that it is indeed over the other track, not directly on top of it. That's going to also make sure that it lays flat. And you want to pull it again, not so it's tight, but so it's taut. And those are things that are going to help it to lay flat as well. And so now I'm just going to go across, and then you'll see me do it again. I think you might get an even better angle when I do the flip over going back the other way. As I am sewing the hair in, I am anchoring it to one of these twists when I can, but if not, I am literally using that cap for the in-betweens, and it works out really well. It does hold very secure, and it's a great way to continue to anchor the tracks without causing too much tension on your hair. So I would also say don't worry about like perfection when it comes to sewing it in. The more that you do it, the better you'll get at it. The same thing goes for me. I would say just branch out and try it. I see people watching videos all the time. They're like, I could never. Just try it. You don't know. So this is the first set of tracks that I put in. It's not perfectly flat, but honestly, it's just creating the volume that I like anyway, so it doesn't bother me at all. This is my hair once I have completed sewing in the second pack of hair. And you guys, this is actually 14-inch was the first length, 12-inch for the second length. And so now I am finishing closing up that top part with some 10-inch hair. And what I'm doing is I am connecting this last top track to the actual closure. So, and then after that, I'm going to show you how I truly anchor the closure down so that it isn't like wavy or anything like that. And it's just nice and taut. Okay, so now I'm going to start from basically the innermost part of that perimeter twist that I did, and I'm going to go to the closest part of the lace closure that I'm going to be keeping. So not the part that I'm like cutting off that extra lace, but the closest part, and I'm going to work my way from the inside up closer to the edge of the closure. So I feel like you can see what I'm saying better than I'm explaining what I'm saying, but just start close and then start moving forward. Start on the innermost part and then start moving forward. Y'all, I'm sorry, I can't explain this better. Look at what I'm doing, and that's how you do it. But ultimately, you're just continuing to sew from the perimeter twist into the actual closure, not including the part that you're going to cut off, that extra lace, obviously. And once you've completed doing that on one side, you're going to go in and you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side, starting at the flat twist, going to the innermost part of the closure, and then starting to continue forward. Alrighty, now that that's done, I'm going to pull all this hair up and back so that I can cut off the rest of this cap, and then I'm going to start cutting off the lace. Now I'm going to add this setting foam, even though the irony is I ended up switching where I had this part anyway, like 5 times. But I'm adding some setting foam just to kind of smooth it down, lay it down, get it in place. I also end up using like a wax stick, but yeah. Okay, I am not mad at these results. I am not mad at all. For a braidless, glueless, gelless sewing, I'm not mad. Now, if I want to do something a little extra, there is this lace melt. I'm going to show you how I apply it if I decide to use it. It is nothing like glue. It's not harsh like glue. It's not harsh like any gel got to be anything. Like it's not harsh at all. If you sweat a little bit, it's gonna lift because it ain't for all that extra stuff, okay? But if you just want a little cleaner, smoother look, um, with the lace, then this is something that you can do. Sometimes I'll do it. Honestly, I don't do it all the time and it still turns out really well. But you spray it down like so, and then you just get the band, you wrap it around. You're supposed to leave it on there for like at least, I want to say like 15 to 20 minutes, and then you take it off for the final result, which I'll show you guys in just a second. Okay, so it's been some time. I was actually making peach cobbler and it's time to take it off. And you guys, honestly, like it's cute and it's giving, but like 3 minutes later, it ended up lifting and it was still really cute. Y'all gonna see that because when I do the middle part, I'm gonna switch it to a middle part in just a second. And by the time I did that middle part, it was already lifting. So I don't even know if this stuff really like worked for real. Like maybe it do, maybe it don't. Maybe I should have left it on a little longer. I can't call it, but either way, I'm really happy with the results that I got. I feel like it's giving a little something here. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's in my mind. This hairline's a little overplucked. But that first line that you see is not even like the lace. It's just, you know, whatever. My band was like on tight. But this middle part is truly giving what it's supposed to give. But I really want to wear a side part. I don't know. We're going to see what I do. What do you guys think of these results ultimately? Again, for a braidless, glueless, gelless sewing, because honestly, I get tired of like trying to do all the refreshes with the glue and the tape and the gel and the this and the that and all the things. And then I be dancing. Sometimes I used to work out and it was just too much. So look at this though. This is giving. This is giving. And like I said, by this point, that melt stuff had actually already lifted. So it wasn't, I should have slid the comb under it just now, but I didn't. But anyways, yeah, like I was happy with these results. This is nice. Again, braidless, glueless, gelless. This is a win for me. This is a win for me. Let me know if you're going to try this technique. And again, it's great for girls that have really short hair that's not long enough to grip, or maybe you just don't know how to grip braids, like whatever. This can work for you. Hope you guys like it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next tutorial. Bye.